part of our retreat. We're curious, we're a little curious. I have a question for you.
Yeah, before we jump into, the talk, we just, we want to know more about you. So we got a couple questions, some interview questions. What's your two greatest weaknesses?
So I was curious, when you were a little boy, what did you dream about becoming?
Well, I dreamed of, one of the things I said I thought I wanted to do is I like to read library books about like space, like stars, and so I said, hey Mom, I'd like to be an astronomer. And my mom said, you know what astronomers do? They sit there and look at a microscope at a planet for their whole lives, and it never moves. If it moves 2 inches, you become a millionaire. If not, you just spend your whole life looking through a microscope, a telescope. And so I was like, no, maybe not. So I'm not an astronomer.
All right, second question. Who was a role model that you looked up to when you were little, or even now?
A role model. Well, I wouldn't necessarily call it a role model, but I would say that when I was a kid, I liked Magic Johnson and the Los Angeles Lakers. So I grew up in the 80s. And so so I would say that's the person that like, oh, this guy, that's I can't do that.
Nice. So this one's more get to know you better. If you could have any superpower, which would you choose?
Almost just playing basketball. No, people always ask us, would you rather fly or be invisible? And I don't know if it's an introvert thing. I'm an introvert, and I like the invisible one. I don't know if it's extrovert fun fly, introvert, so I wouldn't mind being invisible for us to sort of escape. That's an introvert thing.
Okay. Last question. I see you're wearing a Duke shirt. If Duke and UT played in a basketball game, who would win and why would it be UT?
Different sports, right? Different sports. This is a basketball country, this is a football country with UT, right? So it makes it easy when my different places that I've lived besides, so I was a Duke student, so I'm wearing this, because and we'll talk some tonight about the messages you get from your school. So there are definitely messages I got about my life and going to a particular school. But yes, I'll say that of course Duke would win. But then basketball, football, Duke would have no choice. Even on chance, even I call it UT's bad years. Yeah, I know it's not the best year this year, but we believe it's really strong.
Can I pray for you as you enter into this time? Yeah. All right, everyone bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we just lift up your name and we thank you for the precious gift of time. Of all the people here tonight, Lord. We just lift up Judge Ho at this time to, speak into our lives, Lord. I thank you that we have open hearts, open minds to receive all that you have for us tonight, Lord. God, we just bless your name, Lord, and we lift up praises to your name. And we thank you for Judge Ho and this time. In Jesus' name, amen.
So I only moved to Texas 2 years ago, and I moved here, actually, you guys are one of the main reasons why I moved here. I did another InterVarsity job. I was an area director where I worked with about 10 schools in the college towns, basically in rural Virginia. And then I also sort of helped us lead Asian American work in our region, which for me was Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina. So in InterVarsity, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, in those 3 states, there were not as many Asian students as are in this room right now involved with InterVarsity. And so when I changed jobs to become the National Director of Asian American Ministries, I thought I would live somewhere, I should live somewhere where there's a vibrant, strong ministry among Asian Americans. And I picked Austin over LA and San Francisco and all those other places where I could have lived. So I'm really excited to be here with you guys. You guys are going to be part of a different kind of retreat than I've ever been part of before, where I'm not going to be talking very much. So until Sunday morning, the longest I will talk in any consecutive slot is 10 minutes. It's not going to be a speak. It's not going to be a lot of, I don't know, some of you may not have gone to a lot of Christian things, but if you go to a lot of Christian things, usually just like sing for a whole bunch of time, listen to someone talking to you for a whole bunch of time, repeat. Which is good. Like, I like singing and I like listening to speakers. But we're going to do something different tonight. We're going to have some experience for you, different kinds of experiences for you. But I'm going to begin by introducing what we're talking about and why this weekend. About 25 years ago, I was sitting sort of where you were. I was in college and trying to figure out what am I about, what's important to me, what am I going to do with my life. And I would say that today, I actually have a pretty good sense of this is who Jesus has made me to be and what he's made me to be about. Back then, when I was sitting in your seats, I had no clue. I was doing the next thing that I thought I would do or was expected of me or that was natural, but I had no clue why Jesus had made me, what he had me to, why he specifically had for me, what his unique plan was for me in my life. Now, I knew about Jesus. I even had a relationship with Jesus. I had a sincere desire to do what Jesus wanted, but I still didn't have particularly any clue what was the specific thing that I was made for. Now, it's pretty normal to have clearer direction about your life when you're 40s than your 20s. That's very, very normal. So actually some amount of fuzziness and I don't know is actually probably pretty healthy for you guys. But here's the thing that I can think about though, that I've realized is now that I do have a pretty strong sense of, hey, I think I know what Jesus has made me for and what I'm supposed to be about. I can look back to when I was your age and I think I could have known some of those things even then, if I'd known the right questions to ask. Now, of course, not all of it. Like some of it, over the last 25 years, those things have come. You know, I've had experiences, and God has taught me things, and I've learned some things. But there's actually some things that I know now that I could have known when I was sitting where you were. And that's what we're hoping to give you this weekend. It's a chance to ask Jesus, how do you define me? How do you define me? The title of the conference is Redefine. Like there's lots of ways we can be defined, lots of people, lots of voices defining us. How do you define me, Jesus? Now, brief aside, some people, probably many of us, since this is a Christian group, are pretty comfortable like saying Jesus, talking about Jesus, talking to Jesus, asking him stuff, which is what we're going to do. We're going to ask Jesus how he defines us. I also know that in any group this size, there's some people for whom this Jesus thing, this Christian thing, either it's like really new or it's new for a while. Like it's been a while since I've done this kind of thing. And that's totally okay. Thank you, by the way, for being willing to spend 48 hours with this many really religious people, because that can be sort of weird. And it's okay if some of the stuff that we do feels like that's a little weird. We don't want to do anything, we don't want to like force you by crowd speak to do anything that you're uncomfortable with and don't want to do. So we want to say that up front. At the same time, I want to say, even if you don't even know if you believe in God at all, I just want to assure you, Jesus really wants to say something to you. As a matter of fact, if you believe the stories that you read about Jesus in the Bible, he is much more, if you're someone who doesn't even know what you think about Jesus and is not sure you care, Jesus is more interested in you this weekend than he is with me. He's much more excited to get to know you than he is to get to know me. If you look at what Jesus did when he was around, when he was on earth. So I just want to say, I want you to invite you particularly to be open. Hey, open to experience whatever happens and see if there's something that leads you in the direction of having some more clarity about who Jesus is, or maybe you'll decide, I'm still not sure if I believe in him, but I'm sort of more interested now. That'd be fine. So, tonight we are going to be doing an exercise called Voices. It's called the Voices exercise. Before we ask Jesus how he defines us, which is what we're going to do tomorrow morning, we're just going to spend tonight considering what are all the other voices that are defining us right now. There are a lot of other voices, and that's what we're going to be doing tonight, just to set it all up. Now, I want you to realize that your whole life, almost constantly, you are hearing voices that are trying to define you, that are telling you, hey, you should be like this. You know what would be good for you to be like this. You're hearing those all the time. Most of the time, those voices go in your ears subconsciously. You don't know that, and some of them you accept and some of them you don't, and also that's happening subconsciously. Like you don't know that's happening. So what we're trying to do this evening is maybe to surface some of those. What happens is you have these expectations, these voices that say, hey, you should do this. And then sometimes you're like, nah. And then sometimes you say, yeah, I should do that. And you don't even know it's happening. You don't actually know like, which voices you absorb until you violate one of them. And then all of a sudden you feel bad and it sort of doesn't make any sense. Let me give you an example. I was sort of your average good student. I believed, one of the voices that I believed was if you went to a good school and had a practical major like engineering and you got good grades, then you should get a job because that's the path to getting a job. You know? And so I did that. I also had this voice because I grew up in a Christian household that, you know, you should put God number one, serve God as first priority, even above school. And if you put God number one, He'll take care of the rest of you, including like your school and your job and all those things. And you know what? I did that too. And I believed those two voices without really even knowing that there are two things that I believed. Now, if you're paying close attention, you can probably guess what happened when I graduated. I was unemployed and I moved back in with my parents. And that was when I realized, wait a minute, somebody broke some rule there. You know, right? That was not supposed to happen. And then I realized, oh, wait a minute, there's these couple of voices that I believed about what was supposed to happen in my life. I didn't even know I believed them, and then all of a sudden I bumped up into them. So what we're going to try and help you with is to maybe out some of those voices. Now, what you're going to do about for the next just a little over a half hour is you are going to move to several different locations to hear different voices. So I want you to first see what your family group is, and depending on what your family group number is, you're going to be a group. So family groups 1 through 3, group A, B, C, D, E, F. So do you know what you're in, right? Okay, how many people are group A? You know? B. All right, good. I don't have to do the rest of it. You know what you're right. So, there's 2 13s. They're in the second group. Second group. Group B. 13 is group B. You guys are sharp. You'll get a job when you graduate. So let me just tell you what's going to happen. You're going to move to 3 different spots and then end up back here. Actually, this room is one of the spots. Okay, so you're going to move. What will happen in each spot is you're going to hear a very short introduction. You're going to watch a very short video. You're going to have a little bit of time to reflect. You will need your journals and writing implements. So if you do not have a journal, you raise your hand. We're going to get one for you. If you do not have a writing implement of some sort, raise your hand and either someone next to you or someone on the side will get one for you. Right? So, let me tell you what will happen in each of these spaces. You're going to hear a short introduction. You are going to watch a short video introducing something, and then you're going to have a few minutes, like maybe 3 or 4 minutes, to jot something down. You can either do it on, page 1 of your booklet, or this. I know this is really small writing, and so if this is too small, you can also just write it in your journal itself. And that will happen. Then you're going to rotate to the next place, and then rotate to the 3rd place, and then end up here. So group A, you're going to start off in the main room. Which side is group 1? Okay. So group A, what you're going to do is you're going to start in the main room, start in here. You're going to move to room 1, which is over there on that side. Then room 2, which is also on that side. And then you're going to come back. Okay, B, you're going to go room 1, room 2, and come back. Rooms 3 and 4 are on this side. So if you're group D, you're going to start in the main room. You'll move to room 3. And then 4, and then back. So does everybody understand what you're doing? We're going to visit 3 different rooms. This will be one of them. 1 and 2 on that side, 3 and 4 on that side. Any questions? So after we do that rotation of all those three places, then come back here. Then you're going to share in your family groups again about some of the voices in your life. So I'm going to pray for us one more time to not